Okay, Tepig is back. Are you ready-ish, Mosquito?
Oh, oh no.
Oh, Charlie disappeared. Uh, yeah, I'm checking out now to see if it is.
What's the YouTube?
Mosquito VGC. It is not showing a back screen, it is showing you on the dead game. Yeah. Checking out. Okay.
Yep.
Do we want to have PHB and Tepig leave the room for now, or?
Yeah, or just
Yeah.
Devin. Wait, do you have the YouTube link, Mosquito? Because I thought I was subscribed to you, but I'm not getting it in my sub feed.
I'll definitely.
Oh wait, I'm getting it. Okay, good. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, Oops just posted it in.
Getting it in my.
It's posted in the Orre Cup thread on Discord. That Oops just did it.
I'm ready. Just tell me when I need to deafen. I can do that right now. All right, 1 second. God.
Yeah, Tepig is deafening. That works too. Okay, PHP is gone. Ready to start the match whenever. Cool. Yeah, it's Generation 3 doubles, very similar to VGC currently. Right now, we're playing a restricted format with mythicals as well, though none of the mythicals have made top cut, so you won't be seeing them today. Yeah, basically the same rule set, but for Gen 3. Similar to Regulation J, the mythicals do not do that well, but there's no Majerna to make up for it. Game has opened. Yeah, and I think but notable to note for both these players, Tepig Ace, a longtime player, won Mount Battle 6 in the draft format, has made top cut of quite a few OCs. PHB, meanwhile, has just made the top cut of the recent Smogon Orre tournament. So both very good, high-quality players that have played quite a bit of Orre standard before this, but much newer to the Orre kind of restricted formats.
Yeah. And these games are open team sheets, so we can check their teams, their Pokemon, their items, and players will also be able to see that for each other. We'll get... yeah, oops, I just realized that my mic was turned off, so I turned it on in OBS.
I've just been speaking to Ghost.
We have some open team sheets here. I will pull them off to the side, but...
Oops said perfect. It should be back now.
Yeah. All right. We have PHB and Tepigs. On PHB side, we have a standard Leftovers Kyogre. We have Choice Band Lugia. We have a Kingdra, surprising going Heavy Rain. A Ludicolo opting for Fake Out Protect. A fairly standard Zapdos and Snorlax. On Tepig Ace's side, there's an anti-rain mode with Sunny Day Ludicolo, without Hydro Pump. It's Giga Drain. We have a Bright Powder Thunderwave Latias, standard Snorlax, semi-support Mewtwo with Boom and Psychic and Screen, a Salac Endure Groudon, and a Gengar with Curse and Boom as well. And the players have sent out their Pokemon.
Yeah, a lot of the things here are mixes of things we've come to expect in the restricted format, especially with Kyogre Rain has been very dominant, especially with Lugia as a partner, versus a bit more of changes, Kingdra not commonly seen, as well as most of Tepig Ace's construction are common mons but used in a way that we don't necessarily see together.
Yeah. Right now, with this lead, the Zapdos, neither player is opting for their weather. Maybe they don't want to play the weather war, instead want to get some consistent damage. We see it with the Body Slam and the Thunderbolt coming out, and a Paralysis onto that Zapdos. That is going to be huge.
Yeah, when you've come to see already kind of what determines a lot in this format, there are a lot of speed ties and a lot of speed control options. So things like Body Slam, Thunder introducing Paralysis, as well as Rain or Sun enabling Swift Swim or Chlorophyll respectively. So a lot of this format is defined by that kind of speed war, as well as the RNG of certain moves like Body Slam and Thunder that play into that speed war.
I really like how, and PHB goes for it. Tepig Ace being very safe, using a Protect in case of a possible self-destruct. I wouldn't have expected PHB to do it because of the paralysis, but PHB took the risk, got rewarded, avoided the 25% paralysis chance, and was able to detect plus self-destruct, and it ends up being a trade as both players lose only one Pokemon each.
Yeah, interesting position here, though. I think giving up the Latias versus the Ludicolo, interesting decision there, might play out, especially if it's Kyogre in the back, which we would expect. So getting rid of the Latias there, definitely, it's an interesting thing to say who that trade favors more. I would say personally, because losing Snorlax is a bit bigger of a hit than losing Latias in this situation, that I don't know if that was a favorable trade for PHB.
I think I would actually think the opposite. It does depend on what's in the back. If PHB has the Kyogre in the back, it is sort of nice to remove the Latias. But the thing that I think is really important here is that now there's a choice band Lugia ready to just click moves.
Yeah, Aeroblast is going to be hitting incredibly hard here. I think very smart from PHB, just get the chip on the lax there. That might enable the Lugia. I still don't think it'll KO from this range, but with the double from lax from Zapdos, it probably get the kill. But Lugia is in a great position here, faster than everything, hitting extremely hard with Aeroblast.
It's also important to note that
we've also been noted that this should be best of 5, and it is currently a best of 3.
Okay. It's important to note, too, that Tepig Ace does not have Protect on Ludicolo, so Self-Destruct is a very unlikely option, unless Tepig wants to sacrifice their moves. But in this case...
From this position, though, you might just self-destruct to try and get rid of the Lugia. I can't protect now that you're in a 3 versus 2. It is an option, though. This is obviously a very risky one.
Yes. I would agree. Now that the board position's 3-2, self-destructing in order to trade and clean up with the last Pokemon, which is presumably Mewtwo or Groudon, would be a good idea. It depends on what Tepig has in the back. Alternatively, can just keep clicking attacks, whittle down the Lugia without a self-destruct, and then still sweep up with the other remaining team members.
Yeah, a pretty easy line here might just be Ice Beam. Oh, goes for the Sunny Day.
And this might just be to set up a...
quite a bit stronger, but I think without removing the Lugia, that might not be quite safe enough.
Yeah.
Because now Aeroblast will probably kill, and a Psychic from Mewtwo is not doing a lot.
I
would self-destruct.
I would say, though, this might be a good play because removing the Rain takes away a lot of the threat of the Kyogre, which is one-hit KOing things with Hydro Pump, getting guaranteed hits with Thunder. Tepig might have just said, hey, I think I can just win this game by neutralizing the Kyogre, then remove the Lugia, and then 1v1 it, using Mewtwo Psychic or using Snorlax Body Slam. We saw that Hydro Pump did less than 33%, so it's possible that the Snorlax will simply survive another Hydro Pump.
Yeah, the question there, though, is that you don't have an easy way to remove the Lugia without exploding your Mewtwo here, and Lugia probably kills Snorlax from this range with but goes
Oh,
into the Mewtwo. I think that was
a very risky
I don't
play.
think that was ever the right play, but now we're in a very good position for Tepig to close out this game one without possibly a crit from.
Yeah, I think that was an extremely aggressive play. If PHB simply doubled the Snorlax, the game would have probably been over right there. Mewtwo has no way to break through Lugia. Instead, Tepig took the risk, went for the light screen and removed Lugia, and set up for an end game against the Kyogre and was rewarded for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a reasonable play on Tepig's end, but I just don't think PHP's play was ever going to win the game there.
The Protect plus attack?
Yeah, protect plus attack. I just think that's never safe
Okay.
because I think in
like,
that
even if
situation,
it's
if you're
hard calling
attacking the
the
Mewtwo,
even if it's hard calling the self-destruct.
if it's hard calling the self destruct, then it's kind of whatever. Because then it's like, oh, your situation. I don't think it makes a difference. I think you might as well attack the Snorlax if you're expecting self destruct, just to try and catch it. Like because if you're predicting that play, the Mewtwo's dead anyway. You might as well target the Snorlax in case they don't make that play. Like I would rather you hedge your bet correctly if because you're assuming the Mewtwo is dying anyway.
Okay. In any case, the game is basically over. PHB can win through a critical hit Hydro Pump, or a full
Or Thunder
paralysis,
Barrett,
yeah, or full paralysis. But otherwise, Tepig has the significant advantage here, and Tepig has Quick Claw, I believe. So I think
Good
we're just
play there,
going for a
removing the sun so
Protect
the crit would do
to
more damage. I think just
that.
getting through that, but still.
That also is something I forgot, that it is that was manual sun setup, not Groudon sun setup. So PHB was stalling the sun and the light screen, and if that Protect went through, the Hydro Pump would have KO'd without a critical hit.
Yeah. All right. Good end game there from Tepig, just making the very safe decisions to play that out. Now we're going to go into game two, see potential adjustments. I think both of them there brought generally the right Pokemon to the matchup, but we'll see what adjustment gets made in terms PHB, or if he just accepts that he could have played out his game one strategy a little bit better.
Oh, let me swap the players. There we go. I think Tepig has a huge edge from having the sunny day. Tepig doesn't have to necessarily bring Groudon in order to deal with the rain mode, and PHB is running a heavy rain team. It's not your normal, Kyogre, Ludicolo, and then 4 other good stuff mons. There is a Kingdra on the team as well.
Yeah, the other thing here is I think that especially being Sunny Day Ludi gives you a lot more options than having to rely on Hydro Pump. It lets you support your team a little better and go for those more consistent end games like we saw in game one, where you just set Sunny Day to make sure that Lax was safe. Versus if you're running Hardcore Rain, you have to rely on those Hydro Pumps to really get the value out of this, which obviously not the most consistent strategy.
And we start our game 2. Tepig leading Gengar, Mewtwo, and PHB running Ludicolo, Kingdra. I did remember the Kingdra does have Rain Dance on its moveset, so there also is the option for Manual Rain. It's not as effective countering Sun because Kingdra does not have Chlorophyll, but it is a possibility, and we're just going to see if this Kingdra Ludicolo is going to get boomed on, or if it's going to successfully prepare some rain to dish out some Hydro Pumps.
Yeah, I think Tepig made a really good lead here. Obviously, the double boom mons with one of them not even being affected by boom is a very scary lead, especially when you're trying to set up rain. We'll see what Tepig went for. Curse. Interesting. I respect PHB there, going for the fake out into Mewtwo and just Rain Dance. Just getting up with his kind of linear game plan there. I think that was very risky because he could have been Protect Mewtwo and Boom on Gengar.
Yeah, especially because the Gengar just outruns without the rain. But with the rain set up, PHB is now rewarded. The ability to click Hydro Pump multiple times is now threatened. If Tepig has the switch into Groudon, we might see it work, and we see a Hydro Pump into each, resulting in a boom that clears out both of the Swift Swim users. Hydro Pump simply not enough to KO Mewtwo with its high BST.
Yeah, seeing kind of why necessarily Kingdra isn't necessarily the go-to in it because it doesn't have that same defensive qualities as Ludicolo does, and the damage on Rain is just not quite enough to get through a lot of the restricted that's in this. Stuff like Lugia, Mewtwo just have enough bulk they can eat one and do something like that. But really good position now.
Great position, Tepig. Now seeing there's no possible switch-ins anymore for the Kyogre, can get the Sun up safely. Yes, that Lugia is threatening the Aeroblast, but Tepig has an extremely safe Endure plus Self-Destruct. It guarantees the Lugia gets KO'd, barring a critical hit that Snorlax cannot get KO'd in the Sun from a double up. And yeah, unless PHB gets like some crits the Snorlax and calls an Endure on the Groudon, I think Tepig has this in the
I think
bag.
you have to double protect with Kyogre here, except that presumably Lugia is going to go down and then try and win it.
It's very difficult here.
Position.
Because even if PHB knows Tepig's exact moves, you still need to be able to break through with some luck.
Yeah, you first need to hit a 50-50, and then you need to hope that you can still beat the Groudon and the Gengar, which could force a curse onto you, and then with another Earthquake, hoping you can get through that is difficult.
Yeah, so on PHB's side, I don't really know what to do. You just have to pick one of your options. Either go for the crits or go for the second Protex and, stomp.
Yeah.
But very disadvantageous.
No matter
here.
what, you're having to give in to RNG here. I think the 50-50 may potentially be more, but I don't know if it leads to an end game that's even winnable.
That Aeroblast did not crit, and that Hydro Pump did not crit, which that's game
for Tepig Ace. Really consistent play with the boom there. Just made sure, get to an end game where you can always click boom freely and then set it up.
This is game 2 out of 5, so
yeah, so they're gonna need to set up another challenge, and we'll move to that when it opens.
I just like how Tepig Ace is playing the whole time. That's not to say that PHB is playing poorly, but Tepig is just going for the outs to always make sure that Sun gets set up.
Yeah, and I think that's the great thing, especially the Sunny Day Ludicolo, I think has been a great addition there, because he can always make sure that he has an end game where something like Snorlax is just strong enough to eat those hits and always return fire, which we've seen in both end games that Snorlax has taken down both the Lugia and the Kyogre.
There we go. All right.
Game 3 is open. All right, they just did a best of 1, so if PHB wins this, we'll have to open another challenge.
Old school. Early Orre, we didn't have the best of X option, so we would do our best of whatevers by just opening a bunch of best of 1s at the same time. Like, you'd have 5 tabs open at the same time, and you just hope that your internet doesn't crash. Switch viewpoint. So Tepig up 2 games, and the question now is, how does PHB deal with the combination of self-destruct, Endure, and Sunny Day? They've all been very strong, and there's a Gengar as well to boot. What would PHB's outs be in order to effectively deal both with all these self-destructs and actually get enough damage to win the game?
I think what we saw in game 1 from them, where they brought a little bit more consistently, didn't bring that rain mode, I think was the right play. Because having your own Snorlax to threaten, Boom to take hits, Zapdos with Substitute as an option, and then having your really just bulky restricteds, I think that was the right route to try and get through this game. It just didn't quite work out game 1, so they tried to pivot to rain. But I think that game 1 strategy, if they just make a little bit more accurate plays and reads, can take them to a win here.
Yeah. I am wondering if Lugia is an interesting position because it actually has the bulk and the damage output to otherwise win the game. It walls the Psychic on the Mewtwo. It should tank a Gengar. It is Shadow Ball, right? Yes.
Yeah.
It should tank a Shadow Ball. It can tank every hit that's thrown at it that isn't named Self-Destruct. So the problem being that once you're choice banned, you can't click Protect. There's no Protect on the Lugia, and so Self-Destruct is free, or Explosion is free. In this case, we are seeing another non-weather mode, just going straight for Snorlax and Ludicolo, and I like that. You pressure the Fake Out, and Snorlax actually survives an Explosion from Gengar. So
Yeah.
it gives you
I
more
think this is definitely a
outs.
better lead. Still, the interesting consideration here of Tepig can probably safely just protect, and then, yeah.
Yeah, and then to cancel the fake out, see what happens, and then all
And
right.
now they're in a really difficult position where they deeply afraid of the Mewtwo boom, but also if they double protect here or try to protect on things, you might just get a situation where Mewtwo sets up light screen.
Yeah, and light screen is a very big problem for PHB's rain mode. If PHB brought those Swift Swimmers instead of the Lugia, it will be much harder to break through the light screen. I think Boom is the quote-unquote safest play here, just because you have a 20... oh, sorry, that was the Protects were on Tepig's side. So, light screen is obviously safe, but so Boom can just call out every single turn is always a threat. I think what's very interesting here is that the Snorlax can outrun the Gengar with Quick Claw and one-hit KO it. So PHB always has outs, and Tepig doesn't necessarily have a safe move. In fact, it might discourage the use of self-destruct, depending on how risk-tolerant Tepig Ace is.
Yeah, we're in a position here where neither one of them has anything that can really be considered safe. If you do something like double protect on PHB's side, opening yourself to get punished by light screen or boom the next turn. So neither of them have really safe options here. Obviously, I think you could potentially go light screen here on Mewtwo and switch out to something like, or
just click the
go
button.
for it.
There we go. And 80% chance of no Quick Claw. Had the Quick Claw gone and had the Shadow Ball gone off, Tepig probably would have just lost the game on the spot there. It did not happen, and instead we have a Gengar going for the curse, and the Shadow Ball targets into the Mewtwo slot.
Mewtwo, presumably calling the light screen, just does not get away with it and has to eat the curse.
Oh, goodness.
Presumably, I would think this is Groudon in the back here, so you can probably just protect Snorlax and try and get off a boom or a curse.
I agree. And even if you lose the speed tie, get KO'd by Lugia and get called, as long as it's not a double target, Tepig should be 5. If it is a double target into the Gengar calling a protect on Snorlax, that could be game right there if it's a Groudon switch in and gets discovered attacked with the Hydro Pump. So again, very difficult. I suppose the safest play would just be to click attack twice as Tepig, so that way you don't get discovered.
The danger there, though, is I think if you get doubled on Snorlax here, that's really, really bad.
Gengar can click Curse one more. It was... Oh, no, you can't because it's 262, not 263.
Yeah.
If the Gengar had an odd... Oh, no, it's 261, sorry. So Gengar can click Curse one more time.
Another time.
Yeah. Gengar can click Curse one more time.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Curse does not quite round up, so it will take 130 HP from the Gengar, meaning it will be left on 1.
Yeah. So if you're using Curse, Gengar, make sure... Or in general, if you're using items or abilities or moves that require some percentage, make sure to check your numbers. Things like Leftovers, Curse, like Ghost-type Curse, Citrus Berry in later generations, Substitute. All of these want you to make sure you're doing the math right, so that way you could do the best things. If you're using a Pinch Berry, you generally want your HP divided by 4 if you're using Substitute, and if you aren't using a Pinch Berry, you want to make sure you don't have divisible by 4. Tepig Ace just going for the safe Curse, as we said before, and wins what is presumably a speed tie, gets the Curse off, and does not get hit by the Lugia. This is looking pretty good for Tepig Ace, because a third Curse can come out, or just a Shadow Ball.
Yeah, personally here, I would just switch into Groudon and then click a Shadow Ball or Boom. You might eat some damage on the Groudon, but honestly, once your Snorlax is that safe, it's... The only concern is the Lugia, so... Interesting position. I think it's still definitely winnable for PHB, but heavily favored towards Tepig with getting that off.
Yeah. Yeah, switching in the Groudon is just great since you already protected. Maybe your win condition is to just Curse stall the Kyogre out and then beat the Lugia by hitting attacks. It's also important to note that Aeroblast only has 8 PP. So Tepig can legitimately just go for a PP stall strategy stall out the Kyogre and then stall out the Lugia. May not even need to click attacks because Protect, a second or third Protect, might be more advantageous than dealing damage.
Yeah, interesting consideration here, though, is that Snorlax is probably still threatened by a Hydro Pump plus Aeroblast killing it. So, and presumably Groudon might die to the same even with Sun Up, given that we saw Aeroblast do 50% to it last game.
Yeah.
So, still potential to just lose him on here. And Snorlax would be in a decent position even if you lose like Groudon immediately, but it is threatening that potentially to get to an endgame where you can still kill Snorlax.
Mm-hmm.
Both players understandably taking a bit to think about this position, but here we go.
Groudon swapped out, the Kyogre protecting, and Tepic Ace just going for the explosion. Ooh. Knowing,
Oh, that's
presumably, that the calc
really-
is that Groudon will always survive that explosion, and then getting the Slack boost, which guarantees the hit onto the Lugia, since it does not have Protect, and the Snorlax can just go for a Body Slam, and Kyogre can't win the 1v2. I think Tepig just won the game if they don't
Yeah,
misclick.
that worked out basically perfectly. That was the play I was imagining, but the Aeroblast specifically going into Snorlax there rather than Groudon seals it.
Yeah. If it had hit
So-
into the Groudon slot, then it would be the Snorlax versus the
Yeah,
two
Snorlax
Mons.
versus Cursed Kyogre, which still probably favors the Snorlax just because you can protect out to get some more curse damage, but potentially winnable. Here, I don't think there's a play out of this. Just HP Ghost and Body Slam, and then protect, and you presumably it's over.
Yes. So now Tepig has to still click the moves, of course, or not time out. Oh, timer's not on.
Timer's not
I don't
on,
think we
so-
need it. There's just a single play. PHB is probably trying to see if there's any outs or trying to see any ways to punish if Tepig makes a mistake. We know Tepig guarantees the win already here, so it's just a matter of if Tepig can't see that win, can PHB punish it? Like, for example, if Tepig opts, instead of trying to hit the Lugia, goes for something crazy like Protect Snorlax plus Earthquake, is there a way to punish that? You can by clicking Protect on the Lugia and Aeroblast onto the Groudon.
Yeah, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like this is not a particularly complex endgame, so I think it's really PHP is just hoping for a mistake. But even if he makes a mistake, there's a solid chance he wins anyway.
And just to boot, there's the quick claw from the Body Slam, so the game is already over this turn. Curse Gengar showing its strength.
Using Boom to pressure his opponent in ways that he didn't really have great options to, having to get reads correct most of the time until he got to a position where Choice Band Lugia just sent, because it was Choice Band, always guaranteed to get those hits off.
All right, hello. I see a Tepig Ace has joined the chat. Congratulations on making finals, and PHB, congratulations on going third place.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
I
very stressful. A lot of difficult calls for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I will say I think Charlie does have to leave somewhat soon, so we may want to get
Oh,
finals
okay, yeah.
start.
We'll transition right into it real quick. Just any. I don't really have any last words necessarily. I guess I'm raring to play the next one.
All right. So Tepig, you might want to exit the call. We can talk to PHB for a bit while you get set up with Charizard.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
All right, PHB, if you want to give some thoughts maybe on your tournament run, how it went, anything like that that you have right now, this would be a great time to do so.
I thought it went pretty good, 3-1 in Swiss, and then that allowed me to make top cut. I think it shows that my run in the kickoff tour was not a fluke, which again, I'm not saying anyone thought it was, but well, there was one person, and that was a part of me, so I'm glad to prove that part of me wrong. And yeah, it was a fun time. I thought I made a good team, and I just got outplayed. I was was stated earlier, there were a lot of reads that could have gone either way, and most of the time, I just didn't make the right ones, and that's how the game works sometimes.
Yeah, definitely always a concern with dealing with stuff like self-destruct and explosion, especially in any Ore format. But great run. I think your team was great, and it's very interesting seeing a hardcore rain, especially involving Kingdra. So thank you for coming to the tournament and for playing so well in it.
Thank you. It's great to be here, and I can't wait to participate in more tournaments in the future.
Cool. All right, we should be getting ready to start finals in a second, though Charlie just
Charlie
disconnected.
disappeared.
He disconnected.
While we're here, I don't know if there's any easy way to get this with my setup. I guess verbally, because my setup doesn't have very nice things. But we could go over Charlie's team. We've already seen Tepig Ace's Sun team, but Charlie, at the very least, has a very interesting combo of Articuno and Registeel.
Yeah, so I think speak for Charlie a bit because he's not here. I think we're seeing him choosing very specially bulky mons, which especially in this format completely makes sense when your main threats are Kyogre and Ludicolo. He has the Amnesia Registeel to try and wall out those mons, especially with Resto Chesto. And then also the Articuno with Substitute Pressure, which can stall out a lot of things like Aeroblast or Hydro Pumps over time.
I think what's very interesting is Charlie's going for the agility, simply thinking, all right, we can get Articuno in a position where it's starting to like outrun all these things, get the substitute in front of it, have Patea boosts. It doesn't really need any other attack besides Ice Beam, so agility is a really good tech to deal with a lot of weird things like Ludicolo, for example. Articuno can now outrun Ludicolo in spite of Rain being up. Oh, and finals is ready. Time to see what we have here.
Yeah, I think another big thing with agility Articuno that really helps it is that it's able to start outspeeding stuff like Lugia or Kyogre to start getting those subs up before they attack, which lets you actually engage in that pressure stall if you need to in endgames.
Yeah.
So
It's also
once again, now everybody can fully see the team. We have Articuno, Zapdos, Groudon, and Kyogre, Registeel, and Snorlax. So, for those who don't know, at OC15, our last GS Cup or restricted tournament, Kyogre plus Groudon was the winning restricted core. So now we get a chance to see here whether that will be a repeat or if we will have Mewtwo and Groudon as our new champions.
I think it's important to note that in either case, Groudon is winning, and whereas in the previous in Orre Cup 15, I believe the only Groudon that made top cut was the one on Crystal Kiwi's team, and now Groudon, right?
Sorry.
I believe so. That is correct.
Yeah. The top 5 was like Kyogre, Mewtwo, Kyogre, Rayquaza.
Kyogre, Lugia, and then there was the Kyogre
Groudon.
Rayquaza team, but the Rayquaza didn't have the correct moves, so it didn't really come to matches.
It was the Kyogre plus 3 friends team. The Quagsire and the Rayquaza didn't do anything.
Yeah. All right. So we see our leads. Charizard immediately pulling out the Articuno that we've been talking about, while Tepig Ace bringing 2 Boom Mons out onto the field, Mewtwo and Snorlax.
And my immediate concern here is Articuno cannot hit the Snorlax, and it's not really doing much to the Mewtwo. So yes, Articuno can get the substitute. It can start getting Patea boost, or it can get agility. But once Light Screen's up, nothing's really happening. Tepig Ace is very safe here, against Articuno. The thing Tepig has to deal with is that Snorlax. That Snorlax always threatening Body Slam, always threatening Self-Destruct.
Yeah. I do think it is worth mentioning that Charlie and Tepig did play in Swiss, with Charlie being Tepig's one loss. So we'll see if Tepig has adjusted here at all to try and figure out that matchup. And I think, based on this lead, has done a very good job of setting himself to a good start, because the light screen on that makes a huge difference. But Charlie gets a free substitute off here on the Articuno.
Yeah. So by going for the Protect, possibly fearing the Self-Destruct, or hard reading it with that Gengar, Tepig simply gets the Gengar, which is useful for positioning and to discourage the Self-Destruct, but does not get the light screen while Charlie's getting that substitute, that Patea Pokemon. So we could be seeing an agility here. We could also be seeing an Ice Beam. Tepig instead just trying to break that sub and Charlie just getting positioning advantage with the agility is no longer threatened by self-destruct.
Yeah, and
explosion.
potentially can just kill the Mewtwo here with an Ice Beam, or just set up another substitute. Good thing, a couple of things to note here. Snorlax cannot touch the Gengar. Meanwhile, the Gengar can't really do anything to the Articuno when it has Substitute up because Curse doesn't go through Substitute.
It is Earthquake. I'm surprised to see that. Usually they run Shadow Ball and GS formats, but Charlie, seeing a reason probably to use Earthquake instead, just gets the substitute, which is very safe since it's faster, and lives, of course, because Snorlax has that naturally high bulk and would have survived either explosion or self-destruct, and safely returns into the Mewtwo slot.
Yeah, I think really smart play from Charlie there. Very safe. Here, he can probably just go for... Oh, interesting. We see the
Interesting.
boom from Mewtwo
That was
going
smart.
into a drawing Groudon, but I don't think it doesn't put Groudon into Slack range.
Oh, I was very much expecting a substitute there. A Protect, I guess, preserves one
Protect
more substitute
also
for
works,
Articuno.
does very similar things. Obviously doesn't get closer to that Bataya, but now in a really good position. Groudon basically, I think, has to hit a second Endure here to try and get through.
Yeah, like Tepig can go for a Body Slam Paralysis onto Kyogre or a second Endure plus is Self-Destruct. Fails
Yeah,
the
doesn't
Endure.
get the Endure. I think probably we're gonna see maybe Self-Destruct come out from
Probably.
Snorlax.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
So-
right, so that is game one to Charlie. I think very consistent plays with the Articuno, just subbing and protecting. I don't think it even actually ever clicked Ice Beam once. Uh, so very consistent plays, just made use of that sub protect, getting the agility up, and put Tepig into positions where he was exploding his own Mons and getting really, really low value out of it. I think Tepig clicked Explosion 3 times and got one kill that actually affected the match.
I just do think that this Articuno is showing its strength. Once you get the agility up, you mitigate the self-destructs a lot more. So Tepig Ace probably needs to figure out how to deal with the other Pokemon and possibly, again, ignore that Articuno because it isn't threatening as much damage if you go for the light screen, if you just bring your Snorlax or even your Ludicolo. And we see Articuno
I think-
Snorlax come again.
Yeah, I think what we saw at game one, though, was Tepig Ace was really hard reading those booms from Charlie's Snorlax, which just let that Articuno act freely. So I think to try and get through that, he's going to have to make a bit more hard reads in terms of what he thinks that Snorlax is going to do and actually get them correct, which is always the difficult part.
I see that is the Thunderwave Latias, correct?
Yes, it is Thunderwave Latias, which can be incredibly ignoring for that Articuno because it will basically never agility up to high enough speeds after that. But neither of the Mons on the field can actually really touch Articuno, especially with Sun being up for Thunder.
Yeah. So this is a case where the Articuno can't really be touched and is actually threatening the Ice Beam. So it's still a threat, unlike if you were facing a Snorlax or a Ludicolo. But Tepig just going for the safe Thunder Wave,
Tepig
but
very safe. I think Thunderwave smart, but immediately gets punished by a critical hit.
yeah. And here Charlie in a single turn is able to remove 40% of Tepig's team. Just a KO and then 60% onto that Latias, with basically one punishment, the paralysis. So Charlie can't punish Protect quite as easily, but is still able to throw out some Ice Beams. And again, we see even more damage. Tepig losing a lot of that team. In exchange, gets the speed boost, but without an attack boost, I think this Groudon is just in a very difficult spot. It might just have to go for Endure plus Self-Destruct.
Yeah, and the problem there is Endure plus Self-Destruct still puts you in a position where most of your Mon's HP is gone. So even if you're faster, you're just not outputting enough damage to actually clear through them. And we get
And another critical hit!
Quick clock crit. And I think praying for the para there doesn't get it. Groudon goes down.
Oh. Ouch.
Everything going wrong for Tepig at this point. RNG just not on his side.
Quick Claw and the return. And so now Tepig just has to go for those paralysis, hopefully trying to get one. Gets the paralysis on the Snorlax, does not get it on the Articuno, and now it's Snorlax versus the world. There is no way the Snorlax is winning a 1v4, even with Quick Claw. And
Yeah, even with Quick Claw, it's like there's the Registeel. You just don't do enough damage.
there's no way around this. Yeah, Tepig has lost this game too.
Yep, Registeel just goes for the Seismic Toss, no Quick Claw proc to even try and get a para or something along those lines. And Charizard now into match-winning and tournament-winning position here.
Yeah. And I think in this game too, again, Tepig had some counterplay, was going for that Thunder Wave and hoping to cheese that Articuno, but doing it with two Pokemon that are weak to Ice just does not work so well, because that Articuno is going to threaten some big damage, and it's going to trade. And it's really not good when the Articuno is trading damage in exchange for, like, your restricted slot, for example, your Groudon.
Yeah, and I think we saw there that Tepig identified one potential counterplay in the Thunder Wave, but Charlie in turn identified that when he's bringing that Latias and Groudon, the Articuno doesn't even need to go for an agility. It can just start clicking Ice Beam, and it's hitting 80% on basically the entire team. Snorlax is the only thing that really wants to switch into hits, and while Snorlax can take that, it's eating damage from Charlie's Snorlax.
Yeah.
So I think Charlie just identifying clear win cons there, even when Tepig came up with the counterplay.
And the other thing to note is that Charlie is never leading Kyogre, just because of that threat of that Ludicolo, that Groudon. Charlie's just willing to throw out Mons, deal some damage, like lead the Articuno Snorlax, deal some damage, and then sweep with whatever's in the back, Kyogre or the Registeel.
Yeah, because by the time Tepig is investing all of these resources just to get down the Articuno and the Snorlax. While you do all that, you're taking so much damage, and then Groudon or Kyogre, the actual restricteds, come in.
I think for Tepig Ace, a big thing to do here, since Charlie does not have Shadow Ball on the Snorlax, is to position that Gengar in such a way that Charlie isn't able to punish. Yeah, the Ice Beam critical hit was very unfortunate. If you just lead turn 1 Gengar and don't get critical hit, you do get off your curses, or you do get to bait out an Ice Beam, and then you can do other punishing things with your Snorlax. You can't even curse the Snorlax, because that is another problem for Tepig, has been the constant returns. Charlie goes again for the same lead, and Tepig, instead of leaving double Ice Week, is now leading Latias Snorlax. So
Yeah. I think with what you were talking about with Gengar and the options there of Curse and Boom to try and deal with that, the major problem there is that those are the ways through it, but they are in turn costing you Mons and HP to access. Curse and Boom, probably the strongest tools into it, but at the same time...
And Tepig Ace hard reads the game 3 turn 1 self-destruct. This is a very common tactic that I use, and I think a lot of other players use, where if they're up 2 games, they just click self-destruct turn 1 because they can afford to lose 2 more games. And Tepig just hard reads it.
The interesting thing here, however, is that Registeel comes in and now has a very safe position to start trying to just click Amnesia.
And instead going for these Thunder Wave paralysis, this Articuno has the substitute up, so it can guarantee at least 1 Ice Beam, and then will presumably get outrun. But this Registeel, again, threatening the Amnesia, the Snorlax has no way to break through the Registeel because it does not have Earthquake, it only has self-destruct. This Latias just being forced to hit into the Articuno, try to break the sub so that way Snorlax can finish it off. Without Skill Swap Levitate, though, this Registeel is fodder for Groudon, so Tepig's strategy might just be get rid of all of Registeel's teammates, all my friends are dead, and then win the game from there.
Yeah, I think definitely good position for Tepig here. If either the Latias or the Snorlax had gone paralyzed there, the Articuno could have just killed Latias. None of that happens. Articuno is removed, and I think from here, you just click buttons until you can safely get Groudon in.
Yeah, you never switch in the Groudon. You just keep waiting until one of your Pokemon faints. Or just do that.
You kill the entire team with your own self-destruct. That also works.
Oh, and there's the Groudon. Oh, okay, sorry, I thought there was no Groudon. I miscounted. Okay, and then, that's just a guaranteed win here. You just click Earthquake Curse. You can't... Registeel cannot beat Gengar.
A great game for Tepig there after going down 2-0. but probably not going to get the same kind of thing there of the turn one self-destruct freely given away. So we'll see game four if Tepig can continue to power through what the kind of issues that he's had with the Articuno and Registeel. But I don't think Charlie's going to give away that same amount of lead.
Yeah, I think Charlie now being having only one game of leeway may not just go for self-destruct. It is still safe just to click return 3 or 4 times and click substitute or ice beam. So I would expect Charlie possibly just to use the same lead that's been working so far, and it feels very safe into Tepig. Just don't sacrifice the Snorlax all too early, and then should be able to get the game possibly into another even state. I do like that Tepig kept the Groudon preserved specifically for that Registeel and possibly the Kyogre.
Yeah, I think that was really good from Tepig to identify that as a potential win con versus the Registeel, which he saw game 2. Here, though, I think we're in a position where Charizard is pretty safe to just protect with Articuno and to keep spamming returning from Snorlax, because if there's a position where Snorlax potentially goes boom on Charlie Snorlax, that's a winning trade for you, because now Articuno is free to kill basically everything on the team. And here we see Groudon come out immediately, which I think Tepig trying to hard read something here, but just I don't think Charlie had much reason to change his lead.
Yeah, this Articuno Snorlax is just very solid into getting rid of the Registeel issues. It seems, yeah, Tepig was just maybe baiting out the Ice Beam turn 1 and just gets punished for it because the return went into the Latias slot as well. So does not get the Thunder Wave, does not get to punish this Articuno because of the Protect read.
Oh, and great play from Charlie again.
Oh.
Just clearly identifies, hey, Articuno's not safe here. I don't want to take that T-Wave. Go into Registeel, play it safe, protect Snorlax, and just completely eats that boom safely.
I do
Groudon
have to question the
get
boom.
In here to do some damage.
I do have to question the boom because it's not like Snorlax click protect the first turn and the Articuno still has substitute. I would expect maybe a return and a Thunder Wave or something.
Yeah, I think here you just return into... Oh, gets Quick Claw. That's pretty nice. I probably would have gone in to try and remove the Latias, but that works out quite well.
Yeah, that works too. Now Tepig just trying to really set up this Groudon endgame where you can just endure the Ice Beam at the very end. Here the Earthquake's going to deal... Oh! That's Snorlax living on 1 HP, but the Latias should outrun an Ice Beam.
Yeah, interesting position. Tepig might T-Wave here into the Registeel slot. Yeah. Oh, T-Waved into the Snorlax slot, expecting it to die. Oh. I think that makes this significantly more difficult because now your options into Articuno are significantly worse.
Yeah. Like, if that was an Ice Beam into the Snorlax and then Articuno came out, you always threaten the Endure, and you always have the Thunder Wave as well. So... you have the 50-50. Now it isn't much of a 50-50.
Probably Endure to get a Salac off, but it's just going to really struggle to... Yeah. This is
a return.
Yeah.
It's a return. Articuno outruns and KOs here, but if Tepig endures...
But I don't think plus 2 HP Ghost even kills Articuno, is the problem.
Ah, that's true. That's true. It's full HP. It is an Articuno after all. It's not like a other Pokemon.
Yeah, so I think even if they endure Salac here, I don't think plus 2 HP Ghost kills without a crit.
And so you just Ice Beam.
Barring crit, Articuno has this.
Just click Ice Beam twice.
Yeah, just click Ice Beam twice.
Now there's always the... Oh, and it's faster.
58%, and we have crowned our new OC champion, Charizard.
Woo! Articuno wins its first ever tournament.
Yeah, the major... I think in this format it proved an incredibly good Pokemon. Incredibly impressive from Charizard that entire tournament. Only one loss to PHB in his final Swiss round, and just great play overall. I think especially identifying how Tepig was going to try and counter his plans, and just completely walled it, getting the Registeel switch-ins right, getting the returns right, dodging T-Wave, just great play overall in identifying what his win con was with that Articuno consistently.
Hello, yeah.
Welcome. Congratulations on second place, Tepig.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, Charizard played really well, yeah. And yeah, just the Articuno just caused a lot of trouble. And it was like I just in those like first two games, I felt like my lead was really not the best. And
Yeah,
I tried to like make some middle ground like leads, but no, yeah, I just like needed to like be like, okay, you are Articuno Snorlax or you are Articuno Metagross. Or Articuno Registeel, my bad.
yeah, I think that we saw you try and adapt, especially with bringing the Latias Snorlax, and I think that probably was the right lead. But it's difficult because just there's so much leeway that the Articuno has to try and punish with substitutes or agilities. And I think Charlie just did a really good job of identifying the win cons. But you did, I think, made some great plays there and had a great run overall in the tournament.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know in particular. I found this to be quite fun, but also at the same time, there are some obvious flaws with the meta, but yeah, I'm glad that like a pretty cool team, all things considered, like Charlie or a pretty unique team like Charizard's is able to take it and not like just like Ludi plus Kyogre. I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I think it's very funny seeing actually from the last GS Cup, we do get another Groudon Kyogre win.
Yeah.
But obviously on a very different team, Articuno and Registeel. Oh, and Charizard, our
Hi guys.
OC19 champion, is here. Congrats, Charlie. What do you
Congrats.
have to say about the tournament?
Good job.
Wow, thank you a lot. Well, I didn't expect to win. Like, I didn't even expect to reach top cut. So I'm, I don't know. I'm very excited and happy.
Yeah, I mean, you had an amazing team. I don't think any of us were expecting Articuno Registeel, but throughout that tournament, you proved how good those win cons were. I think, especially as we all saw in finals, just expertly maneuvering the Articuno to get to an endgame win con. What pushed you to choose Articuno and Registeel?
Well, Registeel, I chose it because I wanted a bulky steel type, but I had to choose between Metagross and Registeel, not Jirachi, because I didn't want to lose a big restricted spot. So Metagross was the first pick in the draft, in the first draft of the team. But later I noticed that I needed more Thunderwave support, and Registeel could help me a lot to win end games because Metagross dies to Kyogre. So at least with Registeel I could Amnesia and then rest or something and paralyze it. So yeah, that was why I picked Registeel. And for Articuno, I just thought it had a great matchup into most standard Groudons because I didn't think most people were gonna run like HP Rock or Ancient Power, which I did. And yeah, since I had a Groudon, I also wanted another flying type to avoid getting hit by my own earthquakes. And yeah, I chose the set of sub agility with Petaya Berry because I thought Ice Beam, like Mono Ice, was very good coverage in this format. And yeah, that's why.
Yeah, I really like how Articuno isn't really threatened super effectively by too much. Yeah, because like what you mentioned, like most Groudons don't really have rock coverage unless like your CB like yours, and besides that, you really only need to be scared of like Zapdos and like Kyogre Thunder. So yeah, it could tank a lot of good hits like neutrally and get into that Petaya range.
Super bulky.
Yeah.
I was very surprised because I know Articuno is bulky, like just from the base stats, but I since I didn't practice the team, when I was playing, when it started leaving a lot of hits.
Yeah. I noticed that once I got my lead seat up on your Articuno, it just kind of sat there. I didn't really pay attention to it. It was just there. It could not do anything to Kyogre or Ludicolo. I was getting free HP. I was very surprised you didn't even switch out, honestly.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I didn't want to risk switching out into getting hit to, like, I didn't want to risk getting hit to another of my mons. So I just, I was happy with it going down, honestly. But yeah, the leech seed was pretty painful for my team, especially Articuno with rain up because I can't sub in front of Luffy.
Yeah, I was really happy with my turn 1 play of going into Kyogre immediately to KO that Groudon.
Yeah.
I was also surprised. Game 1, the reason why I clicked fake out turn 2 was because I had to go back on my phone and I completely forgot it was turn 2 and not 1. So I just kind of wasted a turn for no reason.
Yeah, I thought you were like timer.
Yeah, timer. Or misclick.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a misplay on my part. But
also in finals, there was I don't know if it was game 3 that I was gonna boom first turn versus Tepi, and he double protected, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah,
and,
we were talking about that.
That's the first and only time I have first turn boom in Orre, I think.
Oh, really?
So I was like, no way.
Yeah. I was expecting more of turn 1 boom, just because even the threat of turn 1 boom was very, very effective, because it's like it allows Articuno to get a sub pretty comfortably for the most part when you do have Snorlax Articuno lead.
And I was bluffing that every game when I let Articuno and Snorlax, but I thought, okay, he knows I'm gonna sub or agility or whatever, so I'm gonna boom now. I think it's free because he didn't earlier in the 2 other games. He didn't double protect, so I was pretty confident.
Yeah. I might have switched into Gengar in games 1 and 2. I sort of forget trying to maybe play around boom, but if boom happens, it's at least a 1-for-1 trade. Yeah. But that time, I guess I just didn't discriminate. I was just like, he might turn 1 boom. You know what? Just screw it. Just double protect.
No, I mean, I think you made the right play because since I was 2-0, I could afford a first time boom, but I don't know if you knew that I was gonna do it, but I think that's a good explanation.
Yeah.
It's really funny because I was talking about that on stream. It's something I constantly do when I'm up 2-0 in a best of 5. I just turn 1 boom because why not? I can lose another 2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a lot of wiggle room for sure. That's not.
Yeah, I think we saw game 2 as well when switched into Gengar. It immediately got gripped by Ice Beam. So I think that was the position where you're like, I'm not gonna switch because last time it just got so heavily punished.
Yeah, because again, Gengar, physical Gar, it's it does really well against Latias and Mewtwo and other Gars, but yeah, against Snorlax Articuno, you really don't want to be in that scenario because it's you're gonna die to Snorlax
I was watching
if they don't
other games.
self-destruct.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting.
No, you're good.
I was watching your other games, and I really like the course Gengar. I think Akiak invented it, probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
I think it was pretty cool, and you got some very good plays with it. I remember the versus PH, you clicked cursed versus his lax, and it died.
Oh yes,
I don't know
when I self-destructed with Mewtwo and Cursed. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, speaking of Boom, I was so tempted to just bring Imprison Collapse again like I did for JAA, because it's so good. But I just decided not to.
Oh yeah,
I thought
could
about
be.
that this morning.
yeah, it's promising.
I genuinely,
Collapse is
because you can, unlike Mewtwo, you can use Fake Out to get Imprison off more often, and you can punish Substitute, and then Explosion from Mew deals more damage than Mewtwo Self-Destruct.
Yeah, I think I saw some people in friendly were running the Imprison Mew set, and then no one brought it to this. Where I think like it's definitely pretty threatening, especially if you're not prepared for it. I think the one danger it has is that there's a lot more mons in this that can live a single boom, so it becomes hard to trade as effectively with that much dedicated boom. But yeah.
You can if you
Speaking of-
don't if you drop Transform, because max attack Mew should pick up on Snorlax and definitely on Mewtwo and probably on non-bulky Groudon.
Yeah, I mean, I just mean in general with like the imprison stuff. I think that's the major concern is that stuff like Lugia, even Snorlax, can live a lot of the booms from a lot of the partners you would have. So it makes it a little bit more dangerous to try and just trade evenly with that. But potentially could have worked. It would have been interesting to see.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, how many mythicals were in the tour? Because I only faced the Deoxys attack, I think.
Yeah.
There was,
Dude,
I believe,
Deoxys,
3 people running them. I believe there was the Deoxys attack and 2 Mews.
I agree.
Deoxys
Yeah.
attack
And
is
none of them-
potential
none of
one.
them
You
made
gotta
top
find
cut.
The right set to make it work the best. I did not.
I think the struggle with Deoxys
I
attack is
think
just
there
that
was
you
a
probably
Mew,
get one for
right?
one trade
That
basically.
I
in
didn't
turn.
face.
Yeah. It's a 1-for-1 trade mod, yeah. I wanted more special attack EVs for better ranges on Thunder, but I couldn't because I needed max attack to hit for the Mewtwo and Lotties. And I needed 236 speed to outspeed max speed Mewtwo, or else it just kind of does nothing. If
Like-
I can't outspeed everything.
The problem with Deoxys attack is that its offensive stats are too low, which is really funny to say about a Pokemon with base 180 offensive stats, but if you're gonna have no bulk, you want to one-shot everything, and you just can't.
Yeah, and the problem is
think-
that even if you one-shot something, most likely you just immediately lose your Deoxys attack to the partner. And so it's like
Yeah,
you
that's
have a
why-
restricted, that's 1-for-1 trading at best.
Yeah, that's why I ran fake out sub was so that I could potentially get a fake out off and then sub up while maybe the opponent that was gonna attack my Deoxys gets faked out and then the other Pokemon just doesn't do anything to it. And speaking of fake out, can we talk about how annoying facing Ludi is? It's just I hate that guy, and that's why I used it.
Yeah, honestly, Fake Out gets so much
die.
value.
Even Sun Teams was loaded.
Yeah, Sun Team's Ludi, and then all of a sudden pulls out the Solar Beam tech.
Big Ace and I were talking about that earlier in the tournament. I was like, I would hope you'd be running Solar Beam because he had the Sun Ludi.
No, yeah, I just kind of forgot. Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't go through my brain. I think it was originally because the first form of this team, I my restricted pair was Mewtwo and Lugia, and it was like Mewtwo, Lugia, and not Gengar, I think. Oh yeah, it was Lugia, Mewtwo, and Heracross with like Indoor Reversal, and then I
Yeah.
switched it to Groudon and Gengar, which, yeah, I think is a lot better.
Yeah, my Deoxys was only 20 special attack because I just ran out of EVs. I think the play is honestly mixed choice ban. That way you get the KOs with choice ban Shadow Ball, but you also have enough special attack EVs to just get more important ranges on Thunders and Ice Beams.
Yeah, I think some people had definitely talked about that beforehand, and I think it might have been the stronger one, but it's just hard to justify regardless. It's a difficult
It's
mon
hard
to
to
work with.
justify, but I want to justify him so bad. I love Deoxys.
That's fair. That's fair.
Same.
Any other last
Funny
words from
is
Charlie?
We took like 57% from a fake out.
Yeah, when Mosquito
Yeah.
posted that in chat.
Yeah, my Fake Out 2-hit KOs. I could just
Half his HP to fake out.
bring back my Mew and then KO you. I could win.
When Nico DM'd me my team, I realized too late it was protected set of sub because I swapped it out like last minute
Aw.
for 12 before the time, and I was like, oh shit, if I had some, this one probably could have been a lot better for me.
Oh well.
It's fine, yeah.
Oh, I have another question for Tepic.
Yeah.
I I don't know if it was you because I'm not on my PC right now, so I can check the replays. But did your Latias have Thunder instead of
Yeah.
Thunderbolt?
It was a little bit of an anti-synergy with the Thunder and the Sun,
Yeah.
but I
I mean, it works versus Kyogre, but yeah, the thing is, like versus Articuno, you barely can hit it with Latias.
yes. I felt like that most games that I was bringing Ludicolo, I wouldn't realistically see a reason to bring Latias as well. So originally my Latias was, before I switched it to not necessarily one of the sample sets, but it was like, I forgot, it was like the second place team who had Latias and like Quagsire, and I saw they had Bright Powder. It was,
Yeah,
I think it was
Khan.
Protect, Substitute, Thunder, Ice Beam. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that was
I
Khan's its third place team, I think.
yes, and and I liked Thunderwave on Latias originally, but I had Dragon Claw in Helping Hand, and again I felt like all my mons needed to be self-sufficient, so I was like, screw it, might as well just give it offensive pressure if when I needed it, because again it's very easy for you to lose one of your mons and then have like a support mon just be like totally useless, in my opinion, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'd definitely say that makes sense as a theory, and it obviously worked to get you to second place.
Yeah, it's true. Oh,
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Charlie Zard. How? I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't see Zapdos in that finals game, but I'm really curious about how Zapdos performed, at least from your perspective, because I'm not totally sold on it. Like, it has good traits on paper, but I'm not too sure about it.
Yeah. Versus you, it was like uh, it was it wasn't worth it at all because it's mainly for Kyogre,
Yeah, I
but
agree. Yeah.
it's also a flying type, so it can avoid getting hit by my CB Groudon. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's definitely the mon of my the least like a favorable mon in my team in most matchups.
It's really funny you say that because you have a Registeel and an Articuno on your team.
Yeah. At least
And
use
you're
one
saying that they're
correctly.
more useful than Zapdos?
No, but
I mean, we
it's
saw in
true.
practice the Articuno and
Yeah,
Registeel
in practice.
battles.
I already knew Zapdos day one was just not going to be good. I mean, I originally was going to run Zapdos specifically to resist Metagross Meteor Mash because my team was going to be originally quite weak to it. Yeah. Also, I was originally thinking of running Follow Me Clefable, and honestly, I should have stuck with that.
Clefable.
Follow Me Clef would have been a lot better for my team, honestly, because then it wouldn't have Deoxys be a force 1v1 trade mod. I could just follow me, click a button, and all of a sudden Deoxys is still alive, and maybe Clef would barely live.
That's a good idea.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, like, I mean...
That was my original idea, but I was like, I think Moody Fake Out's enough. Turns out it wasn't.
Yeah, Ludi's Fake Out definitely works, and also Mew's Fake Out as well. Like, works best when the other mon on the field can also, like, be relatively bulky. Because, that they can live at least one hit, because you can, like, these with the Fake Out, obviously you only get to stun one mon. So, yeah, with Deoxys, it's very easy for just your opponent just to, like, double target into it, and if you don't protect, but you Fake Out instead, it's a very likely chance that you'll just die anyways.
Yeah, Follow Me Clef was definitely the play I should have done, but I didn't bring it. I was more concerned about Sun Sleep spam, that's why I brought Banette.
Yeah, one mod that I was curious about that no one brought was Dustclops, because like again, like you have in prison. I'm not sure if it can live
Dude.
anything, but just
Oh, it,
one mod that
dude,
could maybe have a
Dustclops. I
chance,
had like
especially because I think Boom is a lot better. Well, I mean,
biggest problem Clops has is Fort Muslot syndrome.
Yes.
Because you want imprison and protect, you want, and then you can run like earthquake, icy wind, ice beam. Doesn't it get like wisp too or something? I think it does get wisp.
It
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moves you can get. You can run for your last two to either deny the opponent or help out your team. Originally my JAA, I was going to run imprison and helping hand until I clicked validate, and I realized, wait a second, you can't do that. So I just slapped on ice beam last second, and it was actually quite good because it just denied opponent Mewtwo's from being able to kill my Groudon, so I was able to just set up and just go to town with Earthquake.
Yeah, that was a strategy back in actual 2006. People were running Ice Beam or Earthquake as the filler move, just so that way they could protect their Rayquaza or protect their everything else from Groudon. And then you run Shadow Ball's fourth move so that way you can wall Snorlax.
Yeah.
Also, Tepic,
you have
I
physical
really
beats.
liked your SD Salak Endure Groudon.
That one's cool.
Yeah, I found that quite effective
it was
actually.
very,
Yeah.
very, very scary. Like, because,
Mhm.
you know, if you get an SD up, you say, okay, I'm gonna kill it with an Ice Beam or whatever, and you endure, you get the boost, and, like, you can win the game in the spot.
Yeah,
It feels
yeah.
like
it's
a
mod
neat-
you can snowball very fast with that set in particular.
Yeah, Groudon hits like a semi truck, but the problem is he's very slow. But once you get him set up, then all of a sudden it's just which mons can outspeed it, or else you're going to get one hit KO'd by any one of its moves.
Yeah, anyway. It's been a good stream. I think we can end stream now. If you guys want to keep talking, go ahead. But again, congratulations to Charlie on winning the entire tournament, being our Orre Cup 19 champion, and to Tepic Ace on getting second place. Thanks all for playing Gen 3 Regulation J, and look forward, trainers. We are going to be, to those who are at home listening, we are going to be preparing for the European International Championships. Registration is this week, and though we don't have an official tournament set up yet, we are working on it, so stay tuned and be ready to register for EUIC. Thank you, everybody, and it's been a great time running this stream.
And also, sorry to interject, but also, if we're giving out announcements, I would also, just a disclaimer that Orre Coliseum is also, like, standard Orre Coliseum is also on the Pokemon Showdown ladder.
Oh, yeah.
If anyone wants to give it a try, yeah.
We're currently still on, we've got another 2 weeks on the ROA Smogon Showdown ladder, so if you like Orre Coliseum and Generation 3, you can go play that on ladder. If you want to play any other Gen 3 formats, come hop into our Discord server. And if you live in Europe, please, please, please be ready to register for the European International Championships. We will be having, most likely, if it gets approved by Pokemon, we will be having an Orre Coliseum meetup. So stay tuned, everybody.